List of information, my brother, Mr. Labaran Malku, the permanent secretaries of the Ministries of Information and Water Resources, our WASH ambassador, Her Excellency Engineer Ebele Okeke, former head of service, the chairmen and board members of our river basin development agencies, authorities, the heads of agencies in the Water Resources Ministry, MDs of the river basins, directors, our friends from the international development agencies, the World Bank, JICA, and EU, stakeholders in the water sector, the leaders of the youth in the water sector, our friends in the media, both the traditional and the social media, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning to everybody, and welcome to the 2014 Ministerial Platform presentation by the Ministry of Water Resources. I would like to say that our presentation today would be the third in the series, but we would be taking a few steps back to also tell our story from the year 2010, when His Excellency President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, GCFR, decided to recreate the Ministry of Water Resources. Shortly after the recreation of the ministry, we developed a roadmap to enhance the contribution of the water sector towards achieving the Vision 2020 and the Millennium Development Goals. And I would like to say that so far, so good. A lot has been achieved in the water sector, especially so that water is a key driver to economic development. I want to also inform you in terms of the water potentials that we have, that the recently concluded master plan, the National Water Resources Master Plan, has revealed that the water resources potential for Nigeria is presently 340 billion cubic meters for surface water and 100 billion cubic meters for groundwater. And this is an improvement on the previous statistics that we had of 267 billion cubic meters for surface water and 92 billion cubic meters for groundwater. I would like to remind you that the mandate of the ministry include the following: formulating and reviewing the National Water Resources Policy and legislation, formulating and implementing a master plan for the overall development of the water resources of the country in a systematic, integrated, and coordinated manner, exploring, developing, and managing surface and underground water resources through construction of dams, barrages, dikes, and other hydraulic structures to control flood, to provide water supply, and also generate power, among other things. Also part of the mandate of the ministry is to develop infrastructure to support irrigation for increased food production and also to ensure national food security. We also are involved in collation, storage, and analysis and dissemination of hydrometeorological, water quality, and hydrological data and information. We support and promote studies and research on the nation's underground and surface water resources potential. We promote integrated approaches to water resources management. We promote high-level advocacy for water and sanitation and hygiene. We collaborate and cooperate with national, regional, and international agencies on all matters relating to water resources development including transboundary water management, as well as support, monitor, and evaluate the programs of all the agencies and parastatals under the ministry. We have 8 service departments, 5 operational departments, and 9 supporting units. We have 4 agencies and 12 river basin development authorities. The resources that we use for our work include the annual budget, and we have a table there showing you the budgetary provision from year 2010 to 2013, and also the manpower, the human resources. So we have a table showing you the analysis of our human resources in the past 4 years. In terms of our achievements, I would start with achievements in the area of dams and reservoir development. The ministry engages in the construction and operation and maintenance of dams nationwide to impound raw water for potable water supply, hydropower, irrigation, fisheries development, flood control, tourism, and other recreational activities. And in the past 4 years, we have been able to complete 37 dams of various sizes. We've rehabilitated 10, and we have about 149 dams, also of various capacities, under construction across the country. When these dams are fully completed, we expect that we'll be able to increase the quantity of water impounded in our dams by 3.6 billion cubic meters. Out of the 37 dams that are completed, 16 of them have potentials for hydropower generation of about 135.15 megawatts of electricity. Some of the existing dams that we have worked on within these 4 years include the Goronyo Dam emergency spillway in Sokoto, the Alau Dam in Borno, the Tiga and Chalawa Gorge Dams in Kanu, the Hadeja-Chamare Barrage in Hadeja. One of our major projects, which government has paid a lot of attention in developing it within the past 4 years, is the Kashimbila Dam. And you know that it is the response of the Nigerian government to the likely environmental problem that we would have if the Lake Nyos breaks. The project has attained 87% completion, and by the grace of God, we expect to deliver the project by the end of this year. We are also in the processes of procuring the proposed Dasen Hausa Dam that will address the issues of flooding as a result of likely uncontrollable releases of water from the Labdo Dam in Cameroon. We have pictures there on the screen to show you the different projects that the ministry has been engaged in. The first one there is on the Kashimbila Dam. The president has visited the site, and work, as I said, is at 87% completion. The next one is on the Ogwashiku Dam in Delta State. It is also almost completed. It's at 80% completion. We have the Gurara Dam, multipurpose dam, in Kaduna State. It's at about 60% completion. The pictures are there. We have fully rehabilitated the Onyan Dam in Ogun State with assistance from the World Bank. The Obudu Dam is being rehabilitated with assistance from the African Development Bank. We have the Waya Dam in Bauchi State. It has a micro mini hydro power that is supporting both agricultural and fishing activities. Another area that we have worked very seriously on is the area of irrigation facilities development. The irrigation is A key to attainment of food security, and irrigation has the potential of increasing the agricultural productivity by as much as tenfold, and it also provides employment and poverty alleviation for our rural communities. Since 2010, a total of 385 formal and informal irrigation projects of varying sizes have been embarked upon. Out of this, 179 irrigation schemes have been completed, 21 existing irrigation projects have been rehabilitated, and we have 185 new projects that are ongoing in several states across the country. A total of 397,060 hectares of irrigable land has been developed. Out of this, 118,064 hectares were cultivated in the past 4 years, and we have over 1,416,768 farming families that are participating in working on these irrigation facilities. That is at the average of 12 members per family, or 12 persons per family. From our analysis, about 3,013,296 metric tons of assorted food crops have been produced with a market value of about 45 billion naira. The next pie chart there shows you the percentage distribution of the crop production through irrigated agriculture in the country under the supervision of the Ministry of Water Resources and the river basins. 1% has been for wheat production, 76% for rice production, 3% for maize, 1% sorghum, and 19% vegetables. We have the next set of pictures of irrigation facilities in different parts of the country. We have the Middle Rima irrigation in Sokoto, the Gurara irrigation project in Kaduna, the Sapke irrigation project in Katsina, again the Middle Rima irrigation project. We have the Zobe irrigation project in Katsina, the Middle Rima irrigation project, the Sapke, again pictures from Sapke, and then the onions farm in the Kano irrigation project in Kano. We have the intake canal for the irrigation project in Goronyo. You have the tube wells for minor irrigation in Bauchi State. You can see there also a picture of young farmers at the Bakalori irrigation project, and then the Azara Jere irrigation project. The next is the activities in the South Chad. At the beginning of this administration, we paid so much attention to the South Chad irrigation project, and we were able to cultivate about 5,000 hectares of wheat before the situation became critical. So you see our harvest in 2012 in the pictures there. The next is the irrigation activities at the Gireo irrigation project in Yola. And you can see that it's providing jobs and employment for young people, as you can see a number of them on the farms. Our next area of achievement is in the area of water supply intervention. And I want to state here that the primary responsibility for provision of municipal and domestic water supply is that of the states and local governments. However, the federal government from time to time carries out intervention to assist as a way of us trying to achieve the MDGs and also Vision 2020. So far, between 2010 and now, we have been able, through the various interventions that we're doing and also collaboration with the state governments, we have been able to improve access from 58% to 67% in terms of potable water supply, and sanitation from 32% to 41%. Some of the interventions that we have done since 2010 amounts to a total of 4,940 water supply facilities, ranging from mini rural water supply schemes to urban water supply schemes. Out of this, 4,099 were newly constructed. These are completed in the rural areas. 143 rehabilitated, and about 698 other water projects are ongoing. These figures include both what the ministry is doing and what the river basins are doing. We have a total of 1.9 million cubic meters of water that has been installed in all of these facilities, and this has the capacity to provide water for about 30 million people living in the rural areas and also in our small towns. Under our water supply program, we also have the National Water Supply Reform Program, and this we are doing in collaboration with the IDPs. The National Water Supply Sector Reform, initiated by the ministry, is implemented in 12 states with assistance of the World Bank, the African Development Bank, the French Development Agency, and the EU. The first number of states that have participated include Lagos, Cross River, Ogun, Kaduna, and Enugu. They are being funded by the World Bank and the French Development Agency. Oyo and Taraba State are being supported by the African Development Bank, while Cross Rivers, Anambra, Osun, Jigawa, Kano, and Yobe are supported by the EU. The purpose of undertaking the reform in the water sector is to ensure increase in piped water networks in the selected urban areas where the projects are being executed, and also to ensure improved reliability and financial viability of the water agencies for sustainable service delivery. So far, from the work that they are doing, excuse me. Aiki sai da ruwa ku. Sorry, I'm presenting on water and I suddenly need water. Sorry for the break in transmission. Well, from all the work that is being done in terms of the water sector reform, we're also expecting that about 30 million Nigerians living especially in the urban areas would be impacted when these projects are completed. The first and second phases of the project being supported by the World Bank are nearing completion in 22 urban towns in Lagos, Cross River, Ogun, Kaduna, and Enugu states, with a population of about 10 million people. There has also been substantial improvement in water supply to the affected towns and cities, and some of them can now operate at their designed capacities. The third phase of the project is also about to take off in Bauchi, Ekiti, and Rivers states, while we have 9 other states being prepared to participate in the water sector reform. These are Ondo, Bayelsa, Abia, Plateau, Benue, Gombe, Jigawa, and Kano states. In the past 3 years, several workshops and training sessions have been conducted as part of the water sector reform in order to strengthen the capacity of both staff of the Federal Ministry of Water Resources and officials of water agencies relating to water in the various states. This is in order to improve on the reform process. Earlier on, I told you that it's the responsibility of state governments to provide potable water. But the federal government is conscious that the states do not have the capacity to go it all alone. And so federal government has continued to partner with states in order to improve on their water supply. The next set of pictures you see is a partnership between the federal government and the Benue State government to develop the Greater Makurdi Water Supply Scheme, which has a capacity to produce 10,000 cubic meters of water per day. The next set of pictures are the progress of work on the Central Obia water supply project in Bayelsa State. It has a capacity for 7,200 cubic meters per day, and it's at about 80% completion. The next set of pictures show you the newly refurbished Abekuta Water Works in Ogun State. It was supported by the World Bank. We also have water scheme. The next area that we are going to report on has to do with water quality, sanitation, and hygiene. Water sanitation and hygiene is crucial to life and all human existence, as it is the basis for securing public health for the populace and enhancing productivity and economic development. In this connection, the ministry, in collaboration with the National Task Group on Sanitation and states in the promotion of sanitation and hygiene, have continued to collaborate with other development partners to achieve the campaign on sanitation, to scale it up. And the partners we work with are World Bank, Africa Development Bank, EU, UNICEF, UK DFID, Water Aid, WSSCC, and the Global Sanitation Fund. We have water quality reference laboratories located in 6 zones of the Federation in Kano, Mina, Gombe, Enugu, Akure, and Lagos. And the sole purpose for setting up these laboratories is to ensure that we monitor water quality and also undertake surveillance on drinking water, surface and groundwater, as well as our reservoirs and the inflows that come from other countries. Some of the activities that we've carried out in this subsector of the water sector include regular monitoring of the public water supply by the National Water Quality Control Reference Laboratories. A total of 15,774 water samples are collected annually and analyzed. We also have regular monitoring of surface and groundwater, provision of water quality and sanitation advisory services to communities, and also promotion of the community-led total sanitation program. And we have been able to carry out advocacy in 300 communities in 32 states of the Federation. We have also been participating in national disaster risk reduction measurement and containment in the water and sanitation affected communities. So far, we have completed 2 out of the 6 laboratories that are under construction. These are in Sokoto and Maiduguri. We have also the National Water Quality Reference Laboratory also participated in 2013 in the UNEP GEMS Performance Evaluation of Government Water Quality Laboratories. The process is to ensure that the National Water Quality Reference Laboratories that we have in Nigeria meet international standards. The ministry has also been working in collaboration with the Standard Organization of Nigeria and other relevant stakeholders to reverse the Nigerian standard for drinking water quality. and we have almost concluded on the legal instrument. Nigeria has also played a key role in the campaign against open defecation, and we have keyed into the United Nations End Open Defecation and Global Hand Wash campaign. And that's part of what we also did this morning to ensure that the hand washing campaign is accepted at very high level, with key government officials playing a leading role. And as part of our activities in Nigeria, we were recognized by the United Nations, and this was demonstrated by a high-level advocacy visit by the UN Deputy Secretary General, Mr. Jan Eliasson, who visited the ministry in 2014 and invited us to participate in the Sanitation and Water for All, a high-level meeting that held in Washington in the month of April. The ministry, in partnership with the Ministry of Health, also leads in the campaign to reduce and contain the spread of waterborne diseases such as cholera across national boundaries, and regular meetings with Nigeria's neighbors in Niger, Chad, and Cameroon are held. The ministry also, as part of its support to public health, has keyed into the National Ebola Virus Emergency Containment Plan using the hand wash. We have also participated in ensuring the tracking and documentation of our activities, not just nationally, but also at global level. And we actively participated in preparing the report for the African Union and African Ministers of Water Council report that was presented in January in Addis Ababa. We have also contributed to the water and sanitation reporting system of the World Health Organization and the Global Analysis and Assessment and Sanitation and Drinking Water Program. The next set of pictures will show you the different activities under the water quality, sanitation and hygiene program that we have. The completed water quality reference laboratories are there on the picture. And the next one is the laboratories. The inside of the laboratories, you can see the staff working on samples collected. Usually they also collect samples in different places. You can see pictures of samples being collected at Pata, at Anka in Zafara, and also Boso in Mina. Next set of pictures is the hand washing campaign. The campaign community-led total sanitation training session for community members, and also the open defecation campaign. The next set of pictures is also same. The ministry also is working in the area of gender mainstreaming and women empowerment in the water sector. And following Mr. President directives for gender mainstreaming in 5 ministries in 2012, the ministry collaborated with the Ministry of Finance and other relevant ministries, Ministry of Agri, Ministry of Communication Technology, Ministry of Works, and Ministry of Women Affairs to develop the Girls and Women in Nigeria program, popularly known as GWIN. We have earmarked the projects to be undertaken in 12 states, namely Katsina, Jigawa, Bauchi, Taraba, Plateau, Benue, Osun, Ondo, Delta, and Bayelsa. And we are running pilot programs in 4 states. 156 rural women and girls have been trained on water kiosks and scheme operation and maintenance management in 4 pilot states: Abia, Bauchi, Osun, and Plateau. 287 rural women and girls have been trained on community-led total sanitation, slabs construction, and public sanitation facility operation and maintenance in the 4 pilot states. 55 urban educated women and girls have been trained on public procurement processes in Lagos and Abuja for the southern states and the northern states respectively. 160 rural women and girls have been trained on entrepreneurial skills development in 4 of the pilot states. Water, sanitation, and hygiene committees have been set up in 40 communities, with 50% of members being women in the 4 pilot states. And the construction of the first set of 8-number water kiosks and sanitation infrastructure at public places are ongoing in 8 communities. The next set of pictures will show you the various activities in this area. Another area we are reporting on is the hydrology and flood management activities of the ministry. Thank you, Pamsek. Thank you also for the support from the audience. We're also reporting on hydrology and flood management. And as you know, water is the primary medium through which climate change impacts on people and the ecosystem. And extreme weather events such as floods and droughts can come with very devastating consequences. So the ministry, through its the Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency, NISA, continues to provide records of river discharges along our major rivers, that is the Niger and the Benue, and their tributaries, for stream flow monitoring. Also for groundwater monitoring, including saline water intrusion in the coastal areas and inland areas where have been carried out in different locations. The ministry served on the Presidential Committee on the Flood in 2012 to assess the situation. We also undertook a 2-day colloquium of experts in the field of hydrology, hydrogeology, engineering, water law, geosciences, climate change, irrigation, dams, and social sciences. This was held in 2012. And between 2013 and 2014, the agency has increased the network density of hydrometeorological stations across the country for flood management and control. Several workshops and meetings have been held. Capacity building for our professionals have been held, and the agency has also produced the 2012 and 2013 flood outlook, which have been distributed. In the next slide, you would see some of the reports that the agency produces to provide comparative flow situations on the river Niger and river Benue. Blue is 2013 and the yellow is 2014. The next slide also is part of the comparative hydrograph, and you can see the different years marked in different colors. Brown is for 2012-2013 when we had the flooding. The blue is for 2013 and the purple is for 2014. As part of our activities under the Nigerian Hydrological Services Agency, we also have international engagements, and so Nigeria hosted the Sahara and Sahel Observatory meeting of experts in March 2014. We have to participate in that in order to ensure integrated and joint management of the ground and surface water within the sub-region. And members of that organization are drawn from 7 countries: Algeria, Benin, Burkina Faso, Mali, Mauritania, Niger, and Nigeria. And the project is being funded by the Africa Water Facility and the French Global Fund for Global Environment. Next set of pictures will show you the different things that are being done by NISA. In doing this work also, the ministry tries to respond to the challenges posed by climate change. And we are doing this, again, NISA is the one championing this activity in the water sector. This is to ensure that climate change information is incorporated into the management of the water sector programs through climate proving and screening of water infrastructure. And NISA has been able to publish a report for the Climate Change Information Guide for Hydrological Area 1. They did a pilot scheme for Hydrological Area 1 and 6 for Sokoto Basin and the Western Littoral in 2013. The next set of pictures are also from NISA, showing the different activities that they are doing. Let me say that there is an exhibition outside by our agencies and the river basins showcasing all the things that they are doing. So after this event, please take some time to view some of the exhibits, go through the stands. The next area of our reporting is the training, research, and development arm of the ministry. And we have the National Water Resources Institute, which is based in Kaduna. It is responsible for training, research, and development in the sector. They have been engaged in several activities. One of it is the maiden edition of the Junior Water Prize. They have conducted that twice now, and this was done in 2012 and 2013 during the 3rd and 4th National Water Conference in Ilorin and Calabar. And the purpose of this is to provide an opportunity for young Nigerians to also take part in global water competitions, especially the one organized by the International Stockholm Annual World Water Week. 3 of the winners in Nigeria were sponsored to participate in the 2013 World Water Week in Stockholm. The Institute also is hosting the UNESCO Category 2 Regional Center on Integrated River Basin Management, which was established in 2012 by UNESCO. And currently, the center is working on the African Water Resources Capacity Building Program in collaboration with the UNESCO African Regional Office in Nairobi. The Institute has several programs that are keyed into the transformation agenda of the federal government. This includes the youth empowerment training programs on water well drilling, water well rig fabrication, and then household water managers. Over 295 youths have been trained across the country. The Institute has trained about 555 personnel from states' rural water supply and sanitation agencies and the river basin development authorities on water well construction and management, as well as groundwater investigation techniques. A lot has been done by the Institute. This includes the development of a code of practice for water well construction, development of low-cost manual and mini-powered water well drilling rigs, national assessment of drinking water quality in Nasarawa, Taraba, Bayelsa rivers, Delta, Plateau, Osun, and Anambra State, assessment of reservoir sedimentation rates at the Kangimi Reservoir, community-led total sanitation at Ungwam, Bagudu, and Karuga villages in Kaduna, the water safety plans for FCT, Mina, and Kaduna South treatment plants, assessment of flood events in Sokoto, Kebbi, and Oyo State. And the Institute has also constructed and refurbished 4 chalets within its premises to cater for the accommodation of professionals and scholars that come from around the world. We have a set of pictures from the Institute, the things that they are doing. We hope you will take time to look at that. The next area that we'll be reporting on is on water use, regulation, and licenses. We have the Nigeria Integrated Water Resources Commission that oversees water use, regulation, and licensing. And working with the ministry, the commission has been able to finalize on a water use regulation guideline and the fees for application for licenses. They have issued licenses to 3 concessionaires for Kainji, Jeba, and Shiroro dams for generation of hydroelectricity in the privatization of the power sector program. They have also issued water use permits to 3 developers to guarantee access to sites for preparation of projects for electricity generation. They have also produced the first draft of catchment management plan for the Niger North and Western Littoral catchments in collaboration with JICA. The concessionaires that have received license include Mainstream Energy for Kainji Dam, Mainstream Energy for Jeba Dam, and North-South Energy Solution Limited for Shiroro Dam. For the water use permits, William Duncan Limited has been given for Kwa Falls in Plateau State, Hydro-Belt Flow for Mada River in Nasarawa State, Hydro-Belt Flow for Katsina-Ala River in Benue State, and Zuma Energy for gas plant on River Niger in Kogi State. The ministry has been involved in several global water activities. Notable among the activities are the World Water Week. Every year we have actively participated in the campaign to promote issues of water. The ministry also is engaged in international collaboration and partnership, especially as regards trans-boundary water courses. We are active members of the Niger Basin Authority and the Lake Chad Basin Commission. We are also involved in bilateral joint commission activities like the Nigeria-Cameroon Joint Commission, Nigeria-Niger Joint Commission activities. And this has helped a great deal to douse tension in terms of water management with our neighbors. The ministry also has been very supportive of the objectives of the NBA Shared Vision and the Lake Chad Basin Commission Investment Plan. You recall that in 2012, we had devastating floods, and part of it had to do with the release of water from the Labdo Dam. This necessitated our holding some bilateral discussions with our counterparts in Cameroon. We had to go on 2 missions to Cameroon. First, a technical team went, and then I also led a delegation to Cameroon. And part of the agreement with Cameroon is to sign an MOU on the joint management and development of the transboundary river basin that is in the Benue river system. And we also agreed to develop stronger framework on sharing of information on the releases of water from the Labdo. We also agreed that Nigeria would complement by building its own a similar structure on the Nigerian side, and that is a Dasen Hausa. And we also agreed that we would share information on the situation in Lake Nyos. The next set of pictures show the visit to the Labdo Dam. As part of our engagements with the LCBC, that's the Lake Chad Basin Commission, we have had to participate actively in the processes for the resuscitation or the recharging of the Lake Chad itself. And this has led to us participating in the donor conference, which was held earlier this year in Italy. The pictures are there. Advocacy on the goal of, and this was done at the high level of the SWA, which held in Washington under the chairmanship of the UN Secretary General and the President of the World Bank. Still under our collaboration and partnership through our relationship with the Niger Basin Authority and the World Bank, the Kainji Dam is being rehabilitated. We also have the work on Kainji Dam, the rehabilitation is at 68%, while that of Jeba is at 97% completion. And we hope that by 2016 this will be completed. Back home, we are also engaged in several interministerial partnerships and collaboration with sister ministries and agencies, the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, the Ministry of Information, Ministry of Science and Technology, the National Planning Commission, the National Orientation Agency, and the Ministry of Environment. We have also continued to engage with state governors. All the 36 state governors, we relate with them. Some of them have visited us, or we have had cause to have joint programs with them. You would see in the next set of slides. Also at this point, we'd like to report on investment potentials in the water sector. The ministry has established a public-private partnership unit which interfaces with the private sector, and this is in line with the government commitment to ensure that the private sector actively participates to contribute to the development of Nigeria, especially in the area of employment generation and poverty alleviation. And huge opportunities exist in the water sector, in the areas of hydropower generation, irrigated agriculture, fisheries, and tourism development. I also want to say that the Ministry of Water Resources has enjoyed the strong political backing of the highest authority in the land. The administration of President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan has demonstrated unparalleled political commitment to ensure that the water sector is properly developed for the benefit and progress of Nigerians and Nigeria. And if you recall, in 2013, the president himself convened the presidential summit on water, and this was attended by over 20 countries. And based on that, Nigeria was given the opportunity to share its model with other African countries at the African Ministerial Council on Water annual meeting that held in Egypt in 2013. You have pictures there showing the events at the Presidential Summit on Water. One area that we have also enjoyed a supportive environment is through the National Council on Water Resources. Let me apologize to the honorable commissioners that are here that I didn't acknowledge you in my protocol. Please, I beg your pardon. We have enjoyed very strong support from the Council on Water Resources. This has strengthened collaboration between the ministry and the state governments. I've held the council in Kaduna and in Lafia, and in between we have had emergency meetings that were held in Abuja, and all the states actively participated, and that makes it easier for us to try to share with the states some of the decisions of the federal government that will be for the good of all of us. The pictures there show the various meetings that we have held. Part of the supportive environment also has to do with some of the policies that have been formulated and put in place, like the water sector roadmap, the finalization of the existing water policy and bill, the review. We have also had the reorganization of the River Basin Development Authorities, then the review and update of the National Water Resources Master Plan that was sponsored by JICA. In trying to conclude, I want to share with us what the ministry looks forward to in the coming year and beyond. The ministry, we want to state, would continue to perform its mandate to ensure efficient and effective utilization of the nation's water resources, that efforts will be made to complete all ongoing dam projects, irrigation, water supply, and other critical projects, that the ministry will embark on more rehabilitation of dams and especially small water schemes like boreholes where they have become non-functional. We would also, through the PPP unit, ensure that concession is given to the private sector to operate and maintain some of the facilities that we have, especially the irrigation facilities to boost food production. We still have the construction of the Dassenhauser Dam outstanding. We are collaborating with the Ministry of Power and its agencies to see that some of the dams that have potential for hydropower are properly developed and the power components installed. And the river basins also would be strengthened to improve on their performance, especially to ensure that the people at the grassroots take maximum advantage of their existence. The ministry will continue to strengthen capacity of its workforce. I want to also state that in the past 4 years, that with support from Mr. President, the ministry has been working tirelessly to ensure that we achieve on our core mandates, that we deliver on our core mandates. And that has helped us a great deal. And today we would say that the water sector, it's more known than it was before. But we know that we are not there yet. That until Nigerians have 24 hours a day, 7 days a week supply of water, that's potable water, and also that our irrigation facilities are fully developed and operational, that our water is properly impounded, that we have good water quality, that we will not rest on our oars. So I call on all stakeholders in the water sector to join hands with the Ministry of Water Resources to ensure that we achieve these dreams. We want to thank very sincerely Mr. President for his support, unparalleled support that we have enjoyed in the past 3 years. We also want to thank our colleagues, other MDAs that we've been working with. We appreciate the development partners. We appreciate the media also that has helped to publicize the work that we're doing. We appreciate the staff of the Ministry of Water Resources. We appreciate the river basins, the chairman of the board and members, the managing directors and staff, the heads of the agencies in the water ministry, under the Ministry of Water Resources, and indeed all Nigerians. We are grateful for your support and collaboration. And later in this program, we would be expressing such appreciation with token gifts to those that are deserving. I thank you very much, and God bless.